So when it comes to high intensity training, you can use any type of equipment, including your own body weight, but there are certain things that are going to give you more bang for your buck. So one example is if you're just using your body weight, things like sprinting or doing sprints on an exercise bike, doing sprints on a rower, these are things where you are going to get into that maximal intensity range where you literally just cannot keep going at that speed for more than 20 to 30 seconds. And that's ideal for high intensity training, is that you feel like you literally cannot keep going. But in terms of strength training, one of the pieces of equipment that I highly recommend is kettlebell. And the reason I recommend kettlebells is because of their unique shape, that you can do things with them in terms of explosive, powerful movements that you can do with dumbbells, but it's a lot harder. And then there's certain exercises that you can't do with a dumbbell that you can do with a kettlebell because of the shape and the fact that you can get momentum and you can swing it. So for most women, I find that they don't lift weights as heavy as they could relative to their own body weight and their own strength. And whether this is just because of social conditioning or the availability of weights. So for example, maybe they only have like 5 and 10 pound dumbbells at their house. That's a great start for people who are just getting in shape, right at the start. But if you already would consider yourself like an intermediate level of fitness and you just want to step things up, I highly recommend getting a kettlebell, a cast iron kettlebell. They're easy to get from Amazon. I do recommend that you have them shipped to your house versus going to drive and pick them up because they are so heavy. They can be a huge pain to try to transport yourself. Another reason that I'm a big fan of kettlebells is that relative to their weight, they're really small. So I'm comparing this, for example, to getting like a big squat rack set up with, an Olympic bar, which would be awesome if, a lot of people could have that in their house. But the reality is a lot of people can't. You don't have room for it and it's not practical. Kettlebells, on the other hand, you could get a 40, 50, 60, you could get a huge pound kettlebell that takes up very little space. So if you had, like even dumbbells, if you had a full set that went up to 50s, that takes up a lot of room. Whereas with kettlebells, if you just bought one 40-pound kettlebell, that takes up, like maybe 1 foot in one closet. So it makes home workouts so easy. And again, if you remember from a previous video, a huge part of consistency is just psychology. Is it convenient? Is it easy? Do I feel capable of accomplishing it quickly? We love checking things off of lists. So the easier something is, the more convenient something is, the more likely it is you're going to do it and you're going to feel good about it. So that's why I recommend kettlebells, and I recommend having them shipped directly to your house.